On this lesson, we're gonna begin animating our first row. So the first one is a crab with a lifesaver. So we're gonna select that layer, press P to open our position, and click on the stopwatch. Now if we go to frame, let's say 20 for now, just so that you see. And I move this one to the top, around so the lifesaver is roughly on the center. Just like this, and I just press my spacebar to see a little preview. You can see that this is moving. But of course the animation is kind of slow and dull. So I'm just gonna change this one to around 12. So it just moves there. Now the time is better, but I can select both my keyframes, go keyframe assistance, easy ease, or press F9 on your keyboard. Now you can see this is looking a little bit better. Now if I go into my graph by clicking here on the top and go into my position and move a little bit the handles, you can see how now the movement is better. And the reason for this is that it's getting some speed and then it's losing some speed. So the movement seems more natural. And now let's have a little preview. With this crab, we can make a copy. Now I'm going to show you another really easy way to make a copy. Well, to make something follow the movement. On the next lessons we're going to do it easier, but for now it's so that you can really understand what's going on. So I just create a copy by pressing Ctrl D. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and you create a copy, and now I just remove the position, making sure that I was the position animation, making sure that I was on the first keyframe. Now I could just move this to the bottom and parent it to the second crab, to the first crab layer. And now you can see that both of them are moving. Now this movement I did it just so that you can see. As I said, on the next lesson we're going to do it in a much easier way, but for now you can see how this is going. So I can create a third layer, can open it, and make sure that this is not parenting to nothing, and move it right here on the bottom. So I'm going to put it right there and parent it to the first crab. Now it's going on there, but you can see that it never goes back to being a crab on the first hexagon. So to do that, we're gonna leave it like, let's say we're going to go into frame 12, then around frame 18, like let's give it some more 6 frames. So around, let's say 18 or something, we create another keyframe. So just clicking here, and now let's go into frame, let's say 30, and move that first crab layer a little bit to the top. So and then you go back to the crab, another lifesaver in there. So now if I'm doing this roughly, of course you're gonna see a little bit of a jump because I'm moving this by hand. But this is so you understand what's going on. Like only the crab layer, the first one that we had, is the one that is moving. The rest of them is just there so that you can see how the movement is coming along. So I'm just creating a copy of the crab of the first one that I did, and I'm actually bringing down the opacity so that you can see what's going on here to 37. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want that third crab layer that I create to be exactly on the same position of the first one. So that's why that one is there as a guide. And then you can see how that everything is going well there on the end. But the problem is on the middle because the crab is kind of jumping. And that's really not what we want. As I said, we're gonna do it easier on the next lessons, but here we just create the layers as we go with the animation. So that's why it's kind of a jump. You could adjust them here by just moving there. But what I would recommend is that you use another guide to fix this. Otherwise you get this bumpy effect. So what we're gonna do is go and see where the problem is actually here with this crab. And let's just position it properly and see if that is making things better. It is, but you can still see a little bit of a bump. So let's fix this the proper way, as I said, with a guide. So I'm just making a copy of the crab too, and let's just bring down the opacity and have it being parented to nothing. So now you can see where that crab should be. So I'm just gonna move crab 3, which is our third copy, and right there on that number 4. So now let me delete this guide. You're gonna see how you don't see that bumpy effect anymore. So that's exactly what we want. And you can see that in this case we use guides because I wanted to show you how with one motion you can create a lot of things. So just right click, select everything and go pre-compose. Let's just crop so you don't have a lot of layers, you only have one. And this is looking better, big and more clean on your file. And I want to add a little bit of motion blur so that it looks a little bit of that slot machine. So you just activate that and activate this, and you can see that nothing is happening. And the reason for that is that the original crab files don't have motion blur. So once we activate on those, you can see that they are right there. But now let's go and find an effect that is called set matte. And let's apply it into the crab and go here into the track matte and select hex, which is going to be our hexagon. Now you can see that when our animation goes outside the hexagon, you cannot see it anymore, which is exactly what we want. So now let's just go and create a new solid. It's going to have that that blue color that we use in our first hexagons. So let's select this and put it on the back. Now I can bring back my hexagons, and now we have a background. So you can see that our animation never goes into the blue area. And now just so you can see, you could just select this crab layer and duplicate it by Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. And let's just pressing Shift, move it and align it on the other hexagons on the right. Just make sure that you're pressing Shift, otherwise you're gonna move it on another axis and it's not gonna look good. So now let's have a little preview, and now you can see how we begin filling this. So on the next lesson, we want to do the same for the next set of icons. So see you there.